What's going on, guys? Today we have the Red Tiger F77 dash cam that we're going to do a full review on. I'm going to install this today in my wife's RAV4. I just put, as you might know, a Wolfbox G900 Pro in my Toyota 4Runner. I've just really been into dash cams lately. I think it's good to have dash cams on your vehicles for safety reasons when you're driving around town. Can never hurt if you have to go to insurance and show them something. So this is the dash cam I picked for my wife's vehicle. It's really cool because it's the first 4K front and rear dash cam. Most dash cams do not have 4K in the rear. So that's a really nice feature that this thing has. It also has 128 gigabytes internal storage, so you don't have to have an extra memory card. It stores everything right in the dash cam. It also has an app, Wi-Fi, and voice control. So really cool features coming out of this thing. I'm not going to do the full install in this video here today, but I do have a full install video down here that I'll link for you, and I'll connect it right here to the video. So there is a full step-by-step video of how to wire this into your vehicle if you're looking to hardwire it, which I would recommend so it stays on when you turn your car off. So it's nice to kind of be able to capture that footage when the car's off. But today we're going to do the unboxing, and then I'm going to give you my full review once we get it installed. So grab a coffee, stick around, and let's get into it. This is the Red Tiger F77 4K front and rear dash cam. You get hydrostatic paper to mount it on your defrost. You have some 3M sticky mounting pet tabs here, as well as some 3M wire tucking clips. The front camera is really nice quality here, as you can see. That was my first impression. The plastic is nice. The camera is nice. Feels very heavy and high quality in your hand. The buttons are also high quality on this as well. They have a nice tactical feedback, and you'll see along top there you have a nice vent for cooling, which is nice. And you also can see that the screen is a fairly large size. It's all usable. Everything you see there lights up, which is nice, and it's very high quality. I was very pleased with the quality of the camera and the screen. I also really like the external option for storage on the side there. And this is the rear camera. The rear camera is also, it's not the smallest because it's 4K, but it's also nice quality, good quality plastic, just feels like a good unit. So I was happy with that. And then you also get the cigarette lighter right here in case you don't want to hardwire it, although I'd recommend hardwiring it. That's the best route to go. And then you get a USB-C, USB to USB-C cable, and you also get another USB-C 4K cable to run it to the rear. All right, so now jumping into the install here, you're going to need a couple things. You're going to need your fuses. You're going to need your hardwire kit there, which has a 12-volt cutoff to avoid draining your battery. You might want a light. I brought a light with me. Sometimes you got to work in some tight places when you're in the car. You also are going to want some trim tools, and I have these trim tools here, these blue ones down below. I'll link those. I got those on Amazon. I like to have some extras. You're also going to want a ratchet. I got a 10 millimeter for the RAV4 that I'm working on today. That's your 4K cable and the camera, and that's about it. Okay, so as I mentioned, guys, this is not a full install video today, but I just want to give you a couple tips and tricks, and I'll show you a time lapse of me doing it. If you do want to see a full install, I'll link that video down below, and you can look at a hardwire install. But the first thing you want to do when you're mounting your dash cam is you want to take the dash cam, and you want to figure out where you want to mount this dash cam, and then run your wires to it. You don't want to run your wires first and then put your dash cam in, because sometimes you got to shimmy the wires around, and you have to tuck extra wire in. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to figure out where to put my dash cam, and then I'm going to run the wires in the headliner all the way to the back, because we're going to mount the rear camera in the back, run it up to the front, and then I'm going to hardwire the into my fuse box here. I'm going to hardwire this into my fuse box and wire tuck all those wires so you don't have to have it sitting in your 12 volt. And the other benefit is that when you turn your car off, you still have the added protection that the dash cam is recording. So I like to have them hardwired into my vehicle. But all right, let's do a quick time lapse of me installing it. And like I said, full install video down below. Now that we have this thing installed, guys, I want to take you through a full feature demo of it, and I decided to do it at night because you can see the screen a little bit better here. So this is the standard view that you get when you look at this this dash cam. Well, actually, I'm going to change the view. Yes, this is the standard view that you get. You get the front camera, and then you have your rear camera behind you in the top right. Really love that, and you have some indicators here indicating what features you have on and what those look like. In the top left, you'll have a power indicator, which is good to know when you're doing your hardwiring into the car to make sure that you've hardwired it in correctly, that the dash cam is running when the car is off. And then down here is your recording indicator to let you know that it's recording. So you have that. unmute the microphone right now. So I'm going to go into a full detailed overview of the features, and then we'll go into the menus as well. So let's start at the top. So, as I mentioned a few times, it's a full 4K camera, front and rear, which is the first dash cam to ever be full 4K in the front and the rear, which is one of the things that really drew me to this dash cam. Initially, I thought that was pretty cool, and the 4K is absolutely stunning. We've mentioned that it goes through that Sony Starvis sensor, and you can see here at night, it's pretty dark out, and the front and the rear cam are both readable images, readable pictures. So I really, really do like that. This thing also has a full-on app that I'll demo for you in a second. It also has Wi-Fi, 5.8G Wi-Fi, and full-on voice control. So watch this. If I say, take a picture, it takes a picture immediately, and it might do it again because I mentioned the word. And if you do something like, show me the rear camera, show me the front camera. See, it's really, really good. It's almost better than Siri on my iPhone, so that's pretty impressive. It also has the 128 gigabyte internal storage. It's an eMMC storage system, so pretty solid there that it has that. So you don't have to go buy a memory card. And again, I think the footage that you're getting out of this thing at night is really good. But so this is the home screen. In the bottom, you'll have your settings. You'll have a lock button in case you want to lock footage and save it for later. You have a mute button, which I'm going to turn on now, so it doesn't take any pictures or take any commands right now. And then over here, you can take a picture manually if you want to press that button as well. So you can do that. All right, so let's jump into the menu system and I'll take you through that. So you see you have videotape, which is the main screen. You have playback, which is your old footage. And there it is. Let me go back here. And then you also have your full-on settings menu. So in your settings menu, you can change the resolution on the camera, 4K 30, or you can downscale it 2.5K. You can even do 60 frames per second, 2.5K 30 frames per second. Pretty interesting there. You can change the sound recording on and off. You can set the loop recording in any way that you want. It has a G sensor in case you have any sort of collision event. It'll record and lock that, and you can set the sensitivity of that G sensor. It has a fatigue reminder if you're taking long trips. This is the Wi-Fi section that we'll go through in a little bit here because that's going to connect me to the app to download footage. It has a click tone. You can change that, turn it off. The screensaver button here, voice control. You can flip the mirror. So say you want to flip the way the camera is reading, you can do that. Again, it's touchscreen, so you can swipe and it takes you down further in the menu. You can also flip the rear camera if you say you mounted it weird and you want to flip that around. Parking mode is also really cool. So I have it set on a 48-hour time lapse right now. And you have a couple different options here. You can do a G trigger, so it only records when it detects some sort of collision event in a parking lot. I personally prefer to have a time lapse record, so you can do 12, 24, or 48. And I had it set for 48 because if I park my car in a parking garage, I want to make sure that it's taking footage as long as possible. It has GPS settings here, so it's got the full-on GPS tracking, which will track your speed and your lat long and things like that. And then you have a date stamp. These are all just kind of, settings for the display on the main screen. You can change the speed units and the language and the time style. I'm not going to go through all those. So they're pretty self-explanatory. Even daylight savings time on there, which is a pretty nice feature to have. You can change the flicker rate, which is wild. You can change it from 50 to 60 hertz. These cameras are pretty advanced. You can also format the memory card, change the card speed and completely reset. And then down here, you also download the app. It's the easiest way to download the app is from right there. So that's the entire settings menu and all of the functions of the camera. You can go back out pretty easily and you're back at the main screen. But now let's dive into the app. So I'm going to go in here. I'm going to go to settings and I'm going to go to Wi-Fi and I'm going to start a screen record on my phone. I'll do that right now. Get the screen record going here. I'm going to select 5G for the Wi-Fi. The Wi-Fi is turning on. So now I'm going to go to my Wi-Fi and my phone here. I'm recording. I'm going to go to Red Tiger. You'll see it pop up right here, Red Tiger. And I'm going to type in the password, which is just 1 through 8. 8, like that, nice and easy. And that will log me right into the app. See, Wi-Fi connection successful. I mean, this is so easy. So you just connect to the Wi-Fi and then you're able to see on your phone, you can see your front camera, your rear camera, which I'm backed up to a wall right now. And then you're also able to go through, and if you press the video button here, the photo button takes a photo. Same way you can do it by voice. The video button controls the video. If you press that, it has built-in storage or external storage you can select from, which is really cool. So I'm going to go to the built-in storage here. You can very, very easily get to your footage. See that? Like I'm already in my footage. That was super, super fast. And then right here, it's following along the camera. And if I go to a snapshot or something and say I want to download this, look how fast this is. Download. It's already downloaded. I didn't even, I mean, that was like lightning. All right, let's try this again. Download. Downloaded. I mean, pretty wild how quickly it downloads there for you. So I love that. And when you go back to the main screen, you also have things like your speed on the main screen, which is pretty cool. And then you have different settings in the app. So you can also go through all the different camera settings right here. So you can change the sound recording, resolution, pretty much everything you can do, like the collision sensing, everything that you can do on the camera, you can do right here on the phone, which is pretty cool. So ton of different controls. And overall, the app has been pretty good for me. And yeah, I would highly recommend it because these are the kind of things that are nice when you buy something like this. You want the app to function well. So I've been really happy with this one. But all right, now it's time to get into my final thoughts about the camera. Let's do it. All right, guys. Well, if you stuck around this far, I'm going to give you my final thoughts on the Red Tiger F77 dash cam here. So overall, in short, I really love this thing. I've installed it this morning. I've been driving around with it all day, and after a few hours of use, I feel completely comfortable with it. It's got physical buttons on it. It's got the touchscreen as well, and everything's been super easy to set up and easy to use in general. So I really, really like that about it. I love that it's 4K in the front, 4K in the rear, because when you have 1080p, a lot of times you can't see license plates at night, and this thing you can see license plates at night, and that's really because it has that Sony sensor, and it has 4K in the front and 4K in the rear. So a lot of times people will do the rear ending action and try to, you know, run off. You got to watch out for that stuff, and this is great for that. So I'm really happy to have this in my wife's car. Now, you know, Red Tiger was kind enough to supply this dash cam for this video today, but I've decided that if I was spending my own money, I think for the price of this thing, I probably would buy this one on the market. I've done some research on competitors out there, and I just really like the features that this one has, like the app, the Wi-Fi, the voice control, and all of those things actually work. I know a lot of these like cheaper knockoff brands that you buy, those things don't work very well. So this one, the app works really well. All of that stuff is really easy to use. So I like that a lot. It's also awesome that it comes with the 128 gig internal storage. You kind of need it when you're running at 4K. But 128 gig internal storage, things like 48-hour parking monitoring, which is pretty cool. So I just really like a lot of the features in it, and it's been really user-friendly, which I think is one of the big things when you have a product like this is like, when you get it, I don't want to have to struggle setting it up and figuring out how to use it. And then once it's in, feel uncomfortable using it. So that's kind of nice that this thing is good in that regard. I also love that it's wired into my vehicle. If you get a dash cam, you should take the extra step, take the extra 2 hours out of your day. Probably won't even take you that long depending on the car. My wife's RAV4, these panels were tight for some reason, but some cars it's super easy. So I would take the time to hardwire it into your vehicle. That's my advice to you as well. It's not hard, not intimidating. Just go for it. And I have an install video, as I mentioned a few times. But yeah, overall, guys, I would recommend this thing. I'd give it a try. If this is in your price point, you're looking for a high-quality dash cam, and I say high quality because this thing is high quality, check out the Red Tiger F77. If you do decide that you want to buy it, I have a link down below that'll help you out. Please use that. It helps me out as well. And if you've gotten anything out of this video, if you've enjoyed it, please consider giving it a thumbs up and subscribing to the channel. And I hope to catch you in the next video. But with that, that's my recommendation on the Red Tiger, and I'll see you next time. Peace.